Hello, awesome readers. It's Mrs. K. Hall here. We are going to do another reading lesson today. So let's think about what we learned on Monday in our reading lesson. And we learned how to preview or to take a sneak peek of our text before we read it, to really get an understanding of who the characters are and what adventures we're going to be going on. So we got to dive into the story just a tiny bit of Iris and Walter and the field trip. Unfortunately, we're not going to be reading any of this today, but the next time we come together for a reading lesson, we will be reading it. So we had an anchor chart that we started, and we talked about how readers go on adventures. So what I wanted to share with you was another one that we're going to add. Off we go, readers go on adventures. Get ready, take a sneak peek. Where? What? And we're also going to add, keep track of where and when. So when you're reading your books, make sure that you're keeping track of where and when things are taking place. So like in Iris and Walter and the field trip, if I think where that's taking place, we found out by reading the back cover that it takes place at an aquarium. Now, if we think about it, what time do we think that happened? Do we think it was at night? Do we think it was in the daytime? Do we think that it was on a weekend or on a school day? Well, we're going to have to think about that. If I am thinking about that, I'm looking at the book right now, I know that right here, where it took place was at the aquarium on a field trip for their class. And what time it took place, when? I think it took place in the daytime and on a school day. So I don't think it was on a Saturday or a Sunday. I think it was on a school day because they're taking a field trip through school, and you don't go to school on weekends. And today we're going to be adding some more, but before we do that, we have to learn a little bit more about our books. So I was just thinking about last year at Easter, because I was just looking at my memories and all my pictures on my phone of all the wonderful memories from last year, and it was Easter last year. And I was thinking about how I was at my cousin's house to celebrate Easter, and it was also their birthday. Their birthday was on Easter, which is kind of cool. And when I arrived, I saw a stack of so many presents on the table. All of my family was gathered around talking, and the kids were playing all together. After eating lunch, we sat around the table, we took out the cake, lit all the candles, and sang happy birthday to them. Then they closed their eyes and made a wish, and what do you think they did? I bet you figured out what they did. They blew out those candles. And then, what do you think happened? We cut the cake and we ate it. And before the party was over, they sat by their presents and I bet you said they opened all their presents. You know what? If you said all of those things, were you guys there too? You're doing something right now that readers do all the time when they read stories. They pay attention to everything that's happening to figure out what's to come next. So you guys are predicting what comes next in my story, just like you do in books. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another to our anchor chart. So here's the one that we just added. We are going to add predict what might happen next. Maybe, I wonder what's going to happen next. So what do you think we're going to be doing today? Do you think we're going to be predicting what's coming next? If you think so, you are right. We are going to be predicting what comes next in our books. Now, I have some books here. I have Curious George. I love Curious George. I see that, let me open it quick. I'm going to check something. Ooh. I see that Curious George has a yellow hat. Do you see this yellow hat? Oh, right here. This yellow hat on the ground. What will happen next? What do you think he's going to do with that yellow hat? I gotta think. I think that maybe Curious George is going to put that on his head and he's going to run away. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to predict it. I predicted what I thought was going to happen. Now I got to see if that's what actually happened. He put it on his head. Do you see that? I was right. I wonder if he goes away now. He does. He tries to get away. We'll have to read this another time to see what happens. And I have another book. Henry and Mudge. Henry and Mudge, it's such a fun book. And the Happy Cat. So, oh, Henry's feeling lonely. He has no brothers or sisters or friends. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen. There was a dog. Mudge came. Oh my goodness. So he must have gotten a dog. Oh my gosh. Now, Henry and Mudge, I don't think he got that dog. Because it says Henry and Mudge. I think they're already together. But I think that they get another pet. Should we see if I'm right? Oh my goodness. Look what came to the door. It was a kitty cat. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Wonder what that cat's name is. We'll have to read this another time to figure out what it was. And I have one more book. One of my favorites is Amelia Bedelia. Merry Christmas, Amelia Bedelia. Now, I have to predict what I think is going to happen. Well, I noticed that it's about Christmas. Let's see. Oh, Mrs. Rogers came home, and she had a bunch of presents in her hand. I bet that Amelia Bedelia is going to take all of those presents with her. That's what I think she's going to do. Let me see if I'm right. She does. See, she grabbed them right here. She took all of the presents. And Amelia Bedelia is so silly. I don't know what she's going to do. We'll have to read this another time to figure out what she does. So, I wish I could hear all of your ideas, but I know that you can always send me a message and tell me what you think. But I know that you have some ideas of what comes next in your books. You are doing that kind of thinking that readers do, that awesome readers do. You're not just thinking about what's happening on this page, like of Curious George. We're not just thinking about what's happening on this page. We're not only thinking about this, because this isn't the only page in the book. We're also looking ahead to imagine what's going to come next. So now this is your turn. You need to get a book, and you need to start reading and think what's going to happen next. So I want you to read, take a book, read about 2-3 pages, and then stop. And then I want you to think in your head, ooh, I wonder what's going to come next. And then, after you have your idea, after you predicted what you think is going to come next, I want you to open your book to the next page and see if your prediction was right. See if you were correct. Now is a good time to pause the video to try that. Once you're done, you can also share with a parent or even share with someone else in your house. If you have no one else, share with a teddy bear. A teddy bear would love to learn. Tell each other or tell that person what happened in your book. So readers, all year long, we have been learning how to use our tools to solve words. But readers don't just use letters and sounds and snap words and patterns to help them read. Readers also use the story itself to help them read what comes next. Now, the story gets you thinking. It gets you worrying. It gets you hoping. And it gets all of that wound up together into trouble. And in fact, that is how you read. The story itself gets you predicting. So this is your chance to keep doing that with your books. If you pause the video when you already did it, fantastic job. Pick another book and do it again. It's so exciting to pick up a new book, read a few pages, stop, and predict what's going to happen next. Have a great time reading, friends. Before we go, let's go over our anchor chart. Off we go. Readers go on adventures. Remember to get ready, take a sneak peek, Keep track of where and when. Oops, let me make that better. There we go. Remember to think where the story is taking place and when it is taking place. And predict what might happen next. Remember to read those 3 pages, 2 to 3 pages. Stop and predict what you think is going to happen. Happy reading, readers. Have a great day, and I'm so excited to hear what you learned today. Have a good day. Bye, guys.